Bible prophecy is active and unfolding daily. Zechariah 12, Isaiah 17, Psalm 83, Ezekiel 38. Here is what the LameStream Media is not telling you.
Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's newscast. From the Wall Street Journal, this past Sunday, President Donald Trump spoke by telephone with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about ways to strengthen relations between their two countries, and also spoke of threats posed by Iran. President Trump invited Netanyahu to meet in Washington next month in February. The president has affirmed his unprecedented commitment to Israel's security and stressed that countering ISIS and other radical Islamic terrorist groups will be a priority for his administration. Trump also emphasized that peace could only be negotiated directly between Israelis and Palestinians, period. Now, there's a great sign, a warning of an ominous and, for some, a very encouraging event, which was seen in the Shamayim, that's the heavens. A woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. This is quoting the Revelation 12 sign of the woman, which has been there in the Word for anyone to see for nearly 2,000 years, and it is the only great sign mentioned anywhere in the Word of Yahweh. Now that should be a big hint, but nonetheless it's a hint that most have failed to see until very recently. The problem was that many saw this sign as pointing at an event that was to happen before Yeshua, our Messiah, was born. But no such alignment occurred back then. It occurs this year. The countdown to September 23rd is on, my friends. In just under 8 months, there will be an alignment among the stars that matches the Bible's prophetic sign of the woman cited in Revelation 12. Now, the fact that this amazing prophecy is being displayed for the one and only time ever should be enough to wake up believers everywhere. And this is not the only unique sign occurring this year, my friends. We read in Yeshayahu, that's Isaiah, chapter 19, verses 19 and 20, "In that day there will be an altar to Yahweh in the midst," that's in the middle, "in the heart of the land of Egypt, and a memorial stone to Yahweh near its border. And it will become a sign and a witness to Yahweh of armies in the land of Egypt, for they will cry out to Yahweh because of lachatz, because of oppression, and he will send them a savior, a great defender, and he will rescue them." Now the prophet Yeshayahu is pointing at an altar to Yahweh in the heart of Egypt, a memorial stone to Yahweh at its border. And the Great Pyramid Giza is not only in the heart of Egypt, but it also marks a border. And regarding that altar to Yahweh, take note, my friends, that on September 20th this year, just 3 days before September 23rd, the stars in the Shamayim will align as mapped out by the Giza Pyramid Complex. Just before the sun rises, the star in Orion's belt, which the Great Pyramid represents, is exactly at meridian. And also, at this moment in time, the alignment of the Christ angle, which denotes the angle of the Great Pyramid's ascending and descending passageways, is fulfilled by Regulus, the king star of Leo, the lion, the tribe of Yehudah, aligning perfectly with the Christ angle above the eastern horizon. And that angle, applied north of east from the Great Pyramid, will also bisect Bethlehem. So at dawn, September 20th, 2017, Regulus, the brightest star in the constellation of Leo, that is the Lion of Yehudah, is at the Christ angle. But so is the morning star, and that is Venus, because it is in conjunction with Regulus. And by no coincidence, this occurs the morning before the Feast of Trumpets. That's Yom Teruah, Yom Zakar. This alignment has not been found to repeat in any year through the year 2200, and that puts us well beyond Yeshua's prophecy about the lifespan of the generation that sees the return of Israel. And lastly, if all that isn't enough, these great signs are not alone. Planetary conjunctions similar to the time before Yeshua was born also occurred within the past few years, and the calculations are stunning. Then add to those the tetrad of the lunar eclipses that shouted on Yahweh's Kodesh appointments with mankind in 2014 and 2015, and we are certainly seeing a time like no other. The alarms should be sounding. We're not date setting, my friends. Just saying that look up, for your redemption draws near. The signs are all over the place. We saw the blood moon tetrads of 2014 to 2015. What was that, yesterday? That's like, seems like a long time ago now. It's 2017. So what I'm saying, my friends, is that this September, around the 20th, 23rd, the 15th to the 30th, it's a very significant time, as has been the past very recent years. And this year, especially this fall, there's an announcement being made in the Shamayim for us to sit up, take notice, think about what's going on. I think the most effective thing anyone could do is to just take a moment to consider the difference between 70, 80, 90 years compared with all of eternity. This lifetime, my friends, is but a wisp of smoke, and it is all a training and a proving ground for all of eternity. What have you done? What are you doing to build on your life in eternity, as opposed to all the things you're doing and time you're taking to build on your life in this very small but most significant time frame in all of your life, which is not just here on earth. Turning to wars and rumors of wars, on Tuesday, January 17th, from the Military Times, American warplanes and combat advisors are once again backing Turkish military units battling ISIS in northern Syria. 4 airstrikes on Tuesday near the town of Al-Bab, 20 miles south of Turkey's border with Syria, hit ISIS construction equipment and tactical vehicles. Russian military aircraft have also begun hitting ISIS targets in the area, as Turkish officials have indicated they had no choice but to seek Russia's help. Lieutenant General Sergei Rutskoy of the Russian military's general staff said 9 Russian and 8 Turkish jets have conducted joint airstrikes against the Islamic State in support of the Turkish offensive on al-Bab in the province of Aleppo. Then on Wednesday, January 18th, from Haaretz, an Israeli policeman and a Bedouin Israeli were killed during clashes in the Bedouin village of al-Hiran, sparked by the demolition of illegal homes in the Negev village. And from Ynet News, the members of the Al-Kiyan Bedouin tribe were transferred to the Yatir forest area in the 1950s, and while most tribe members later moved to the village of Hura, a small minority left the Yatir area and spread to the Haran area. At the center of violence on Wednesday was a minority who felt they had massive backing from radical activists backed by NGOs and Islamic movement activists, all helping with a lot of European money. A Supreme Court ruling determined that most of the tribe members moved to Hura, a Bedouin community which is regulated and connected to infrastructures, and the remaining ones are required to evacuate their homes and are being offered to move to Hura. Then on Thursday, January 19th, from the New York Times, a U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber carried out an airstrike against an al-Qaeda training camp in Idlib, Syria, killing more than 100 fighters. The Syrian opposition group Jabhat Fatah al-Sham complained that the camp for new recruits was one of theirs and that the practical effect would be to eliminate fighters who are confronting Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad. Formerly known as the Nusra Front, the group claims to have broken with al-Qaeda, but American officials say they are still an al-Qaeda affiliate. Then on Sunday, January 22nd, from ANSA News, Italy, 8 civilians were killed by the fall of a mortar shell on their home during clashes between Egyptian army and Islamic terrorists allied with ISIS in the south of Rafah in Sinai. Turning to our Intifada update on Saturday, January 21st, from Ma'an News, Islamic State militants blew up 2 transmission towers in Sinai, in the Red Sea coastal area of Oyun Moussa, south of the Suez Canal. The militants had arrived from central Sinai, and planted explosive devices under the towers that supply electricity to Jordan. Looking at our review of last week's news, American warplanes and combat advisors are once again backing Turkish military units battling ISIS in northern Syria with 4 airstrikes last Tuesday. An Israeli policeman and a Bedouin Israeli were killed during clashes in a Bedouin village sparked by the demolition of illegal homes. A U.S. Air Force B-52 bomber carried out an airstrike against an al-Qaeda training camp in Idlib, Syria, killing more than 100 fighters. 8 civilians were killed by the fall of a mortar shell on their home in Sinai, and Islamic State militants blew up 2 transmission towers in Sinai. That, my friends, is what the LameStream Media is not telling you. Abba willing, I'll see you here again next week. Until then, stay safe. Shalom.
Crowded rooms, I need more space than I consume. Enough is time alone with you, underneath a naked moon, sharing confidential moods and making chatter. Mockingbird nocturnal sings notations of eternal things, entering the quantum breeze, flying not for want of wings. He lights his gaze on you and me simply because
because we matter.